G'day guys and welcome back to SimWorld episode 18. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the VTRA golf launch monitor. I've got a lot to talk about. I will be doing a full review video, a full wrap-up review video, but I'm still working through my process. With these launch monitors, I don't like to just get them, use them once, do a video, and then give my final verdict. I like to put them through a series of tests, as you guys know. I'm currently up to the official, the individual tests. So I've done a GC3 versus VTRA head-to-head where they're both on at the same time. I think there was a fair bit of interference going on. Wait for the video. It'll drop tomorrow. Then I'm going to do individual testing, and then I've just got to play with it essentially for another week or so just to really get to know it, and then I'll do my final review. But I've learnt a lot since getting that device. It is going really well. I've got lots to talk about in the final review, and I will be talking about it today, so there'll be some spoilers for that final review. What else? We're going to talk about recapping the Quest series, and then I'm going to show off some amazing courses that have just come to GS Pro. One of them in particular, the beta dropped last night, so stay tuned for that. And finally, we'll be doing a Q&A throughout the whole show. Good to see people jump in. It looks like Phil was in here a while ago. I don't know if he still is. And we've got Spike in, which is good. Some of the regulars. We'll let people file in before we start talking about VTRA. Let's talk about Quest. So the Quest series is a new series in GS Pro. It is a money match, I guess, if you want to call it, a pay-for-play series. Now, not a lot of people have signed up for this first season. So I've signed up for it. C. Stevens has signed up for it. I guess we're kind of two of the bigger names. We've just finished playing TPC Sawgrass. And now this week we're playing Georgia Golf Club rounds 1 and 2. After rounds 1 and 2 of the Quest series, there's a cut. And then essentially the playing field's leveled. And then you play rounds 3 and 4. The buy-in for the Quest series was $200. I don't know what the prizes are going to be. I have no idea whether they're going to be paid out on individual events. I know last week I finished second, or in the last tournament at TPC Sawgrass, I finished second. I don't know what the payout's going to be. This week, I'm leading after the first 2 rounds. Definitely check out the Quest video. I actually hit some really good shots, especially the driver. The driver has come good. I've been really working on my swing, so go check out those videos. There were some 170 plus mile-an-hour ball speed bombs, so that was really good to see. But yeah, I don't know what the payout's going to be, but I'm enjoying them. The Quest series has to be streamed, so you guys are going to see it regardless of if I play good or bad. And yeah, they're a lot of fun, so definitely check out that video. I'll try and be a bit more organized and a bit more on top of posting when I'm going to play those events, but realistically with my schedule, it's just, I've just got to get them in sometimes. Like those 2 rounds I played at Georgia the other day, I just had to get them in. So yeah, Quest series is going good. The swing is slowly coming round. There's positive signs, especially with the driver. The irons, I've still got to, I don't know. I feel like there's something in my swing that I'm just not quite timing or getting, but we will see. Good to see some regulars come in. We've got Harris in the chat. Old Man Golf. Good to see you, mate. And we've got Jez. Nice. That's good, Jez. Yeah, listen along. So yeah, that's the Quest series. Definitely follow. Watch the second round of Augusta. I hit some nice drives in that round. It was really refreshing to see the speed and everything that I'm generating now. It's really cool. I did use the iMini as well, and the iMini performed flawlessly. And I think that's due in part to me coloring in my driver, the Aerojet. So the Aerojet's meant to be white. It's meant to be white, but because of the iMini, I've colored it in black with just a Sharpie, and I had 0 misreads. So I think those 90 degree or 45 degree right shots are actually coming from the white on the club head. Like I posted in the Unicore iMini users group, and that was one of the things that the guy said. Hey, your driver's white, your 3-wood is white. You're going to potentially get misreads, and that I think is exactly what was happening. So happy to say that I'm going to say that that's fixed it and that's rectified the problem. The issue is I've still got this, and I don't want to color this in black. I just don't want to ruin it. So I might get some black electrical tape and just put it on the underside. I don't really want to be looking at it, but if I just put it on the underside, I think that'll help. It doesn't help that I have this white hybrid either. Funnily enough though, I have never had a misread with the iMini and my hybrid, touch wood. Now that I've said that, you know what's going to happen. I have had this hybrid for so long, and it's my favorite club in the bag. I absolutely love this. I do actually have, look at this, a little bit of a flex, the wear mark in the middle. I love this hybrid. Absolutely love it. Nice. So that's the Quest series, recapping it all off. Driver wrap. Yeah. Do you know what's funny, Jez? I actually have a Cricut, a vinyl cutting machine. So potentially I could get, like, I could actually make it look quite nice on this thing. Maybe I will do that actually. Yeah, that could be a good idea. Just get like a vinyl wrap. What else is exciting in my game? I'll get into the VTRA in a minute. The other exciting thing, guess who's back? Guess who is back? Trusty DF3 is back, and this thing has been weighted now to heavy. It feels really good. It feels so much better. What else is back? I've just started trying to get used to this thing yesterday. I was doing some putting last night on the putting mirror that I have, the arm lock. The arm lock is back, and this thing's been shortened. It's been re-weighted. This thing is way heavier than the standard DF3. I should actually swing weight them. I've got a swing weight scale. I might swing weight them both, but this feels way heavier than the standard. And I mean, it is a long putter, but I was doing some putting last night, and this thing was just draining everything. So exciting. I feel like with this, I will do a few videos on these, especially this putter. The crazy thing is, I feel like my speed control on short putts is far superior with this. Like with the short putter, I feel like my real short putts, like inside 10 feet, I feel like my speed can sometimes get a bit off, especially on like those 5-foot putts. I can hit them too hard. With this, because you're taking all of your hands out of it, it's just locked in. I feel like my speed control on those really short putts is actually better. But yeah, so yeah, that's the exciting thing. I'll be doing a whole video over all those putters. I'll be comparing the Mez Max as well, actually, to the DF3. The Mez Max, oh, I love that thing. I just roll it so good. A swing weight scale, Harris, is where you put your club on it, and it basically tells you where the balance point of the club is. So if the weight is more balanced towards the head of the club, then it's going to swing weight heavier. It's going to feel, think of it like if you're going to swing just a normal hammer, it's a really light head and you've got a short handle, so the swing weight's going to be real short. If you've got a club like a sledgehammer that has a really heavy head, it's going to feel really heavy to swing. So swing weight scale is basically the balance point, or where the weight is in the club. And you can adjust it by changing your grip, because if you lighten your grip, it's going to make the head feel heavier. So it's very finicky, but yeah, I am actually, some people don't believe in swing weight. And with swing weight, it's something that you can actually just get used to, right? Like you can get a club, it can be off at the start, and then you just get used to it over time, and then you get used to that swing weight. But for me personally, I believe in swing weight. I think swing weighting is something that I feel like I'm sensitive to it. If I get a driver that's over D3, it's so much easier for me to get behind and stuck. So I need to make sure my driver swing weights around that D2, D3. Any heavier than that, I'm getting stuck. So I'm real sensitive to swing weight, but that's just me. Some people don't believe in it. P Brown, was it necessary to switch my GS Pro key to OpenAPI? I'm having issues setting up webcam putting. What launch monitor have you got? If it's the MLM2 Pro, then yeah, you'll need to go OpenAPI to get it to work with webcam putting. Unfortunately, like those Garmin R10 and the MLM2 Pro, you can't use the official connector and do webcam putting. You'll have to use OpenAPI and Springbox connector. Let's talk about VTRA. So VTRA is something that I didn't think I was really going to get to test. And if it wasn't for the partnership with Bayside Golf, I wouldn't have got to test it. I'm happy to say, obviously I got one relatively quick as well. Sam reached out to them. It happened really quick. And I've had the VTRA in the studio now for a couple of weeks. I've been doing my testing. I've got to say, and look, this thing feels so similar to the other overhead unit that I have. Like, it feels like an older version of the Pro T, like in terms of software. All of the things that I'm seeing from the unit match exactly what I was seeing from the Pro T when I first got it. Pro T's now got the software where it's like kicking goals. It's like performing insanely well now. I feel like VTRA is where the Pro T was like a year and a half ago. I've got to clarify as well. So club data. Let's talk club data. Club data for me is not great, and I'm going to talk about an email that got sent to me by Swingcraft. So with the VTRA, so with the Pro T, club data is all measured. It's all measured. They put the reference marks on the club. It's all measured, and that includes face angle and angle, dynamic loft and things like that, as far as I'm aware. Now, Pro T have told me everything is measured, and I believe them because it's incredibly consistent and good. So what about VTRA? Well, they sent me an email because they watched my videos that have come out, and they've said, our swing data, our club data, sorry, is primarily based on measured values. So most of it is based on measured values. Only loft angle and face angle are calculated. So I think they mean dynamic loft, so loft angle, and then face angle. So I'm thinking, you know, face at impact. Those two metrics are calculated based on the other parameters, like all of the ball data and the rest of the club data. So those two being calculated, face angle, I think you can get it relatively good with swing path and then also like launch angle of the ball. Those two metrics, you could really get face angle to be quite good. Dynamic loft, yeah. How many people realistically, apart from with driver, dynamic loft is a one that I pay attention to with driver. I've got to say I don't really pay attention to any of the other clubs in my bag with dynamic loft. So yeah, to explain in detail, so this is in detail now. So we initially estimate club data based on the ball data. So initially they're estimating it, all of it, off the ball data. However, this is not what we're ultimately providing to users. The estimated values are always compared with the actual measured club data that our system has collected and analyzed. So this all happens in a fraction of a second. They're going estimated data, and then they're going to measure it all and compare it in like a split second. If the measured data is successfully captured, that becomes the basis for the final output. So if the measured data is captured, that becomes the basis of the final output. In cases where the system is unable to capture the measured data, we use the estimated values instead. This may cause some occasional inaccuracies, but our default approach is to prioritize and provide measured data. So all of it's measured, apart from loft angle and face angle, they're calculated. And then they're going to estimate everything based off the ball data whilst actually measuring it. And then if the measured data isn't captured, they'll give you the estimated data. But they want to send through that measured data. So there's a lot going on in like less than 0.1 of a second. The ball takes off in GS Pro insanely quick. Like, it's incredible. It's the quickest launch monitor I've used in terms of hit and see the ball go. But yeah. And then they also said, additionally, we're currently working on enhancing our algorithms for club data measurement. Our goal is to move towards a system that relies entirely on measured data without needing to fall back on estimation. This upgrade is already in progress, and we are confident it will significantly improve both accuracy and consistency. So they are trying to ultimately get to everything measured. Really cool to see. Like I said, this feels like it's a device that is it's at birth, like it's just been born, and it's going to go through those teething phases like every single device, just like the Pro T did, to where the Pro T is now. The Pro T is incredible. It's insanely accurate. I feel like VTRA will get there. It's just going to take them time. But what's cool is they're so transparent in giving me all of this information. It's just incredible. So massive shout out. Excuse me. Massive shout out to Swingcraft and to Elin. I'll give her a shout out for, you know, sharing this information, because it's really cool to see, and it just lets everybody know up front what they're getting. So that's pretty cool. MLM2 Pro, I think I'm having the issues when it comes to connecting the device in Springbok. P Brown, have you got, I've shown this off before, have you got a, oh man, I've got clubs everywhere. Give me a sec. Have you got yourself one of these Bluetooth dongles? I've got the TP-Link. Let me get that in focus. TP-Link, Bluetooth dongle on a massive extension cable, and connect it to your computer. You have to disable your computer's Bluetooth, internal Bluetooth dongle, and then get one of these. They're amazing. Ever since I've got this, I've had zero issues connecting my Square, connecting even my soundbar. I was having issues with my soundbar, and as soon as I got this, it was like issues gone. Audio was really good. So yeah, definitely, if you haven't done so already, get a third-party Bluetooth dongle and use that. In all of my videos, P Brown, I've got links to the one I use for Amazon for the US and Australia. So I'm not sure where you are, but TP-Link is the one you want. Jump on and get that. And definitely check out Triple Bogey. Yep, he loves the MLM2 Pro. He's probably the #1 supporter of the MLM2 Pro. He used it for years, and he's got it dialed in. Yeah, so Harris, what happens with all these units? Well, with a lot of the units now, and Pro T does this as well, is to try and get the data into the virtual world quickly, they will send ball data, because GS Pro just needs ball data. So they'll do a data packet dump, and the first one will be ball data. And then, you know, a second later, they will give the club data. So it's dropped in 2 packets, and that's how these devices are doing. They'll drop the ball data first, so then it's instantly in the world, and then they'll give you the club data after. Because realistically, once you hit it, you want to see the ball fly. You're not worried about your swing path just when you've made contact with the ball. Like, you can wait. You can wait a second for that to process while the ball's flying in the air. So yeah, that's what the Pro T has got an option to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what VTRA's doing either. Hozzle Rocket is in the chat. Good to see you, mate. I've been watching your channel a fair bit. You've been busy. You've been seriously busy playing a lot of golf. It's good to see you're improving as well. I see those ball speeds getting up. What else about VTRA? So what have I noticed? I'll do some spoilers. The official review will come out. I tested it against the GC3 yesterday, I think it was. No, the day before. So 2 days ago, I tested it against the GC3 head to head. What I've got to say is, when you have an overhead unit and you get that video from overhead, it is insane how much IR energy the GC3 puts out. Like, it was blinding. Like, I was looking at the video and I was like, this is crazy how much IR energy the GC3 pumps out. And so that's why I've got to do individual testing. But what I saw in that test was the VTRA for spin rates. And it's so funny because there's another overhead launch monitor that I had that did this. Spin rates are consistently low on the VTRA. We're talking maybe 400 to 500 RPMs, consistently lower than the GC3. Vertical launch, I think there was a degree difference. The VTRA launch slightly lower, a degree lower consistently. But all these values were consistent. So it wasn't, they fluctuated with pitching wedge, I think. But the values for the most part, extremely consistent. So it was always the VTRA underreporting the spin. Always the VTRA a degree lower than the GC3. Now, is that because I'm in my garage and my floor does slope back to front? So I am hitting on a slight upslope. This is what people in garages have to remember, is this is not perfectly flat. Garages tend to slope, out towards the actual exit to the driveway, because if you spill anything, it'll should run downhill and go out of your garage. So potentially what we're seeing in the difference between the VLAs is that the GC3 is sitting on a slight upslope. And this is where it can get a bit, I need to check if the GC3 has an accelerometer and if it takes into account slope. I'm sure it would, but anyway, there was a degree difference. Maybe my roof might angle a certain way. Who knows? So apart from that, though, they were pretty good. Ball speeds. Watch the video. Ball speeds were good at the start with driver. Ball speeds were a little bit quicker on the VTRA. So I'd like to use the VTRA in all my competitions because I get an extra 2 miles an hour out of it, which is nice. Yeah, Professor, that's right. Yeah, I agree. I need to, I don't know what it actually is at the moment, to be honest. It'd be close to 0. I've got to be honest. I should get a slope percentage, what is it called, like a scale, and just see exactly what it is. That's the other thing. The VTRA does not have an official connector to GS Pro. I've sent them an email with like all these bullet points saying, hey, X, Y, Z, all of these things. Are you going to do this? This is what I'd be thinking of. And the official connector was one of them, because if you want to play in like the Quest series, you want to play money matches, then you need an official connector. Hopefully, I'm sure VTRA, I'm sure they'll do an official connector. Like, it doesn't make sense for them not to do an official connector. That'll probably be coming down the line. The other thing is what was I going to say? No, I lost it. So yeah, official connector, VTRA. Hopefully they will. US distributors for VTRA and a link. Yeah, that's a good question. I've got what are the stats at the moment? I'd have to check. A lot of my viewers, or a large part of them, are from the States. Let me see how many audience. So the geography, 56% United States. That's a lot. So yeah, I do owe a service to those viewers. So I'll be asking about US distributors. The only one, Harris, like I said to you the other day, the only one I saw was the Canadian guy. I think his name is Guy, actually, funny enough. If you jump on, I just joined this Facebook group the other day, Harris. It's a VTRA. I think Guy actually started the group. Yeah, if you jump onto VTRA North America official users group, That's the one that I joined the other day. My YouTube on my iPad's been a bit funny. Spike saying, I tested here last week with a TrackMan and my 2 squares, and they were nearly identical on everything, but higher spin with the squares by 400 to 500. Spike, were you using an RCT ball? Please tell me you were. And if you weren't, then invalid test. I would trust the spin out of the... If you weren't using an RCT ball, I would trust the spin values on the squares. Yep. Oh, Guy's in the chat. Look at that. Guy is saying, I cover all North America. That's really cool to see Guy has joined. So yeah, if you're looking for a VTRA in North America or Canada, I believe, Guy, you're based in Canada, then hit up Guy. I do feel like the VTRA has a little bit of work to do, though. I'll release my final review and the findings that I've had. Now, as always, I always say this, that all of these tests I do in my environment, and depending on your environment, where you are, what you've got in your room, how you mount the VTRA, there is a calibration that you've got to do, but all of these things, sometimes they just work differently in a different environment. And so these findings on all these launch monitors I test, I give my personal experience with them all. That's what it is. There you go. So you weren't using an RCT ball. So therefore, the TrackMan is estimating spin values. So to be honest, I'd trust the square with spin. If it's this is what a lot of people they use TrackMan and they go, oh, TrackMan is, you know, the be all end all, and it just, yeah, unless you are using it and with the correct equipment indoors, you've got to have the correct lighting, because without the correct lighting, TrackMan indoors, it adds an algorithm for gear effect. So, I mean, already you're using an algorithm. The other thing is you need RCT balls for correct backspin values. And so using a TrackMan indoors, a lot of people go, that is the ultimate. It's not. It's yeah, TrackMan indoors, it's such a misconception that it's going to be good indoors. The other thing I will say with TrackMan is outdoors, they are fantastic. However, you've got to use a premium ball. If you go to a driving range and you're using range balls, they do have an algorithm. It is really good, but at the end of the day, you're still using a range ball. So TrackMan is amazing for high-end, you know, professionals. When they hit balls on the range, they are using Pro V1s. They're using TP5s. They're using these Callaway premium balls. Indoors, photometric is, in my opinion, always going to be better. I think even TrackMan has started to admit this because their I/O, their indoor optimized, has a camera. Yes, it still has radar on it. I think the only reason they put that radar on it is because they're stubborn and they are a radar company. Radar's good for some applications, don't get me wrong. Radar is fantastic for some applications, but indoors, it's always going to be fraught with danger because there's so much chance of interference. Glenn, good to see you, mate. Let's see, what does Press say? Is there anywhere that your garage sim setup is available to see how it's set up? I started watching you a week ago. Yes, I have done a few videos on that, Professor. Check out, I've got a couple of videos on it. If you search Joe Lagowski Golf, let me see. Joe Lagowski Golf, new setup, I think, I've called it. Where is it? I'll have to find the videos. There was one where I showed off my Bayside Golf Simulator. And then I did an enclosure review as well of the Bayside. Yeah, my new golf sim. So if you search my new golf simulator, Bayside Joe Lagowski Golf, it'll come up with everything. You'll see a video there. I've also done a Bayside enclosure review. So yeah, these are the two videos that you can see there. Frugal saying he's ready for an overhead. Yeah, Hosel, I agree. Quad inside, Trackman outside. Complete. To be honest though, like I said, you've got to be using a premium ball. So outside with Trackman, you want to be using a premium ball. You see a lot of pros still using quads outside as well. Frugal saying, my square with clear and original screen were exact to each other. That's cool. That's really cool because, yeah, I know you did your mods, didn't you? So the clear screen you're saying works outside, Spike? Is that... I need to watch that video. Thanks, Professor. And Guy's saying he's going to post an offer in my group. That's pretty cool. Will that be in the Facebook group, Guy, or is that going to be on this video? You've got to think, Spike, surely Square are working on another unit. Surely they're working, because this one's called the Home Edition, right? This one's called the Square Golf Home Edition. Surely they're working on one Square Golf, you know, Outdoor Edition or something other than home. Surely they're working on something. Yeah, see, I would have thought for the cameras, you would have need to put a darker screen to take it outside, but I don't know. Because you'd think surely it needs like sunglasses essentially on the lens. That'd be interesting. All right, let's talk about some golf courses because I want to talk about one that I saw yesterday, and this course is insane. This course is insane. Let me change views. We're going to go to practice, on-course practice, Jack's Point. Just, this is incredible. Wait till this loads. Yeah, dark screen is to make the unit look better, to hide all the electronics in it. Yeah, I've had that question so many times, Harris. Can I use it not in direct sunlight, outside? And I just don't know the answer, to be honest. I should test it. It's really hard for me because I don't really have a backyard where I can go and hit balls. So I just don't have the room. Professor saying his square comes in Thursday after he messed up his shoulder from the OptiShot 2. OptiShot 2 was the in-mat, wasn't it? It was the in-mat. I'm pretty sure in-mat launch monitor. Hosel Rocket saying, I was told by Square themselves that sunlight won't damage the unit. It just won't work. That makes sense. It's just like a camera just being, you know, overexposed with too much light coming in. Looks like Guy's just posted in the group. And he's saying what you're getting for your VTRA before June 30th, 2025. for only 5,000 US dollars. So it looks like, is that 500 off, guy? 500 off maybe? Check this course out. Oh man. Let me just check the settings because, where is it? Camera options. Okay, let me max this out. Even though my computer can't handle it, we'll just do it for the views. Look at that. Look at that. That is incredible. How good does that look? Course of the week. Possibly course of the year. Jack's Point. There is another Jack's Point. So there is another Jack's Point on TechBud's Patreon. So that's where Jack's Point was. That lives on his Patreon. This Jack's Point was created by Greg McDonald, and this Jack's Point is on the main server for anyone to use. So a couple of different iterations of the course, but I mean, look at this. It's the mountains that do it in the back. It's that backdrop. He's just nailed the backdrop. Just, yeah, this is world class. It's amazing. We've got, I mean, look at that. You've got all this like village in the background. It's just, this is insane. Let's just get a little aerial shot. Just look at that. I mean, talk about views. This is where like GS Pro, not really known for its like, you know, in-course views, but just look. It really, really makes it feel like you're there. I do think I need a beefier PC though, because this course with these backdrops maxed out to like, you know, what is it, 15,000? Let me see, visual settings, meters. So with the visuals maxed out, the draw distance, it definitely puts a lot of strain on the computer. Incredible course. I'd love to see, oh geez, I'd love to see the difference between this course and the Patreon exclusive, because man, I feel like anything Greg does, it just is gold dust. Like, it's just incredible. We've been so spoiled. Him and Judd releasing, oh, what was the course they just released? I'm having a mental blank. The course that they just released was absolutely incredible, and it's getting so hard to pick top 3 courses now. Pikewood National. It's getting so hard to go, these are the top 3 courses on GS Pro, because there's just too many. Like Pikewood, this version of Jack's Point that's in beta, and then all the courses that CE Sim Golf's put out, the official ones, it's just, well, every course CE Sim Golf's put out. It's just incredible. We are spoilt for choice. I don't think you could do a top 3. There's just too many. Blake saying he played there in March. You're kidding. That would have been so good. That would have been so good. Professor, you'll need to go to the Joe Lagowski Golf Facebook group. If you just search Joe Lagowski Golf on Facebook, it's the group, and you've got to answer the 3 questions to get access to the group. Yeah, Harris is he's been through a few units. I do feel like I said, and I'll say it again, I'll say it in my final review, I do feel like the VTRA is still in that early phase, Harris. I think it will get a lot better. Just what I'm seeing now is extremely similar to what I was seeing with the Pro T. Like, it's uncanny. And the Pro T has now fixed all of those issues. I feel like the VTRA's in that early part of its life cycle. But the cool thing is that there's going to be a massive, yeah, there's going to be a massive release from the Laon group, Swingcraft, for the VTRA coming potentially next month. So there's going to be a massive software update and drop. And that software was shown off at the PGA show. And there's going to be swing, AI coaching and things like that. So I will definitely show that off. Yeah, we're constantly making interference with those radar base units. Interference videos. This course is just next level. Such an incredible course. Oh, there you go. So guys saying it's growing fast. We will have a new UI before the end of the month and Swing Easy in the fall. Nice. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that new UI because the UI at the moment is not good. That was one of my points, and I'll have to say it in the video because that's what I've currently got. But things like the connector for GS Pro, there's pros and cons. There's pros because it is insanely light. It is just like a program. Let me show you that. So at the moment, let me just bomb out of this course. And let me show you this. So the actual software, I'll open it up. This is the connector. Let me move it into the middle of the screen. So this is the connector for GS Pro for the VTRA. So it's just not, in terms of functionality, it's super light, which is good. It doesn't bog down your computer. But if you compare it to the Pro T, what you're getting with the Pro T, and I'll pull up the Pro Ts because I've got the Pro T mounted again. So I'll show you what you get with the Pro T is the full software. So that is not closing for some reason, that connector. Anyway, I'll show you what the Pro T, you've all seen this, I'm sure. But this is what you get with the Pro T. So you can customize all your tabs. So I've got multiple swing cameras now, face on and down the line. I've got a tab with all the flight path, you get all your stats, you got your swing video, etc. So the connector that the Pro T uses versus VTRA, you can just see the maturity of the Pro T software. I mean, it is really mature. You're getting all of your data. It's, it looks really good versus the connector from VTRA. It's obviously, and it won't close. I'm going to have to force close it. So you can see the difference there in the connectors. Now, the software for the VTRA as well, not as refined as the Pro T. It does, so with the VTRA, you still get an adjustable hitting area. You still get a lot of the things you do with the Pro T, but even the software for the VTRA, it's just not refined. It just doesn't look that good. So I'm hanging out. I'm going to have to force close. Bear with me. I'm going to have to force close that. Make sure I don't force close the wrong thing. Get rid of that. End task. Yeah, the software is just not as refined. I'm sure it'll get there. I'm sure it'll get there. Yeah, new guys got the new UI mockup in the VTRA group. So go and join that group if you're interested in VTRA. But yeah, definitely needs an update. I wish they'd send it to me early. I'd love to have it now. What else is happening? Golf Joy. I've reached out to Golf Joy multiple times. I saw Jay's video on the new, how do you even say it? Like Spica or Spiker 3, the GC3 iMini equivalent. I've reached out to them multiple times and they responded to me with like a one sentence. I sent them this massive thing saying I'd love to try it off. I'd love to show it off. and they sent back saying, thank you for contacting us, essentially. And so I reached out to them again, and then crickets. So I don't know if I'll get that unit for testing. Fingers crossed, you never know. I did see a post about it in the Facebook group. What else have we got? Go through some questions. I had a question. This comes up all the time. What's your handicap in real life? My handicap in real life is scratch, officially. However, my Garmin Golf says I'm a plus 2.5. So that is, that's my handicap. Yeah, Jez, Sam, I've been talking to Sam about it. We're potentially going to get Sam involved, and he might try and get a unit. VTRA group is on Facebook. Really easy to join. I'll try and find that mock-up real quick, actually. Show you guys what the software looks like. So yeah, it's going to be, try and hold this up to the camera. It's going to be something like this, if you're watching this. So very similar to what you get with Pro-T. Does look a bit more refined. It almost kind of looks like the Square software. You'll get your impact location and things. I just hope they can use that to send the data through to GS Pro, because I've got two screens. I've got my main screen and I've got a second display, and I'd love to, I like having this information on a second display, because I like just being able to quickly reference it and just go, oh, okay, what was my club doing? What was my impact location doing? I've got my impact location on the floor in front of me as well with the overhead projector. So I personally like having that information all the time. Whereas currently with the connector, I mean, you saw it. It is light, but I mean, it's very, very basic. It's essentially just passing the data through. And I know you can launch the advanced settings for GS Pro. So I know you can go in and you can go to the GS Pro connector and you can hit this launch advanced button on it. So for people that don't know this, you can hit this launch advanced and then it pops up with this. So you get all your data there. I know you can do that, but I don't know. I just like having the software. I like having the software do it. I'll hit a shot just so you guys can see. This should go through. Pretty sure I'm connected. Yep. Driver's selected in game, so that's why you're seeing a driver there and not a wedge. So you do have this advanced connector from GS Pro that does all that. But I personally like just having the software displayed on another screen. Someone was asking me about that the other day, actually. How do you find it? I don't know whether the impact location works with this advanced connector. I don't think it does. So impact location is still going to have to be done through the proprietary software. I don't believe it works with this advanced connector. Because as you can see, I just hit it slightly out the toe, and this has got it directly in the middle. Dave saying, is it all VTRA launch monitor? No, absolutely not, mate. Get some questions in if you want. We've got 10 minutes left, so get your questions in. Happy to talk about anything. But I think the majority, a lot of it is VTRA. Yeah, not the right club. Yeah, look, I'll go to the range. Hang on. Practice range. And get the connector back up. Yeah, it won't, because with GS Pro, when you're on the main screen, it's got driver selected as default. And because in the Pro T software, I have the club, I'm using the game club. So see how driver's selected? So if I go like this and we get a lob wedge, and then I launch the advanced connector and I'll hit a shot. Now that lob wedge is selected in game, it will be a wedge. Or an iron, I should say. So yeah. Now I'm pretty sure I towed it because I always do. And you can see the impact locations right in the middle. That's why I like the proprietary software. And I like having that on a second display. But yeah, if I was to change this to a forward and hit a shot, it would now be a wood. I'm not going to full swing this because I'll literally break my body. I'll just do like a chip shot. I'll just do, that was off the toe, 100% off the toe. As you can see, we got a wood. And then you can see the actual shot there. So definitely toe side, and the impact location's right in the middle. Did you enjoy the wild finish to the US Open, Joe? Yeah, look, I didn't. The US Open for me, I just don't know. I struggle to get around the US Open, and I do like that JJ Spawn won. I wanted Adam Scott to win, obviously, but I don't know. The US Open for me, watching people struggle for like 72 holes and just almost be demoralized and look like they're not enjoying it, I find it hard to watch. I know some people love watching the pros struggle and they love watching that test, but for me personally, I like to see a few birdies. I like to see someone playing good golf, being happy, being energized. I just find it a bit draining, the US Open. I find it hard to watch. That's just me. But I did love that we had the DF3 win. That was cool. That putt was incredible. That final putt was just insane. Was just so good. And the drive on 17, I mean, was just awesome. I'll go back. I saw a question about iMini. Let me find it again. Mark is asking, is the iMini club data now accurate? Mark, honestly, the iMini is incredible now. It is performing. I'm saying this as, I am not obliged to say any launch monitor is good or bad. Like, I can say what I want. Even though I'm partnered with Bayside, who doesn't have the actual rights to advertise and sell Unicore, I can say what I want. The Unicore iMini is performing amazingly. It is a fantastic device. I have no reservations in telling anybody to not get the iMini now. Club data is accurate, ball data is accurate. The one thing with the iMini, and I've said this time and time again, make sure you do not have white clubs. It is very sensitive to anything white other than the golf ball. So you've got to be really careful that if you have white clubs, you might see some misreads. And that's what I was seeing the misreads from. Apart from that, it is performing amazingly. So I really cannot recommend the iMini enough. What was the other thing? There was one other thing with the iMini. I'll have a full video coming out soon just talking about the iMini, but the white clubs was the major thing. What else did I have? Subscription fees. It has subscription fees, but I mean, realistically, more units now that have subscription fees that don't. The software can be a bit clunky, but you know, you've got an ecosystem with the balance plates, the cameras, they're expensive. You have to use the proprietary cameras, which is annoying. That's where something like the Pro T doesn't have subscription fees. You can use $100 cameras from AliExpress or, you know, wherever you get them from. And they're hopefully in the future, we're going to get some AI coaching, fingers crossed. So yeah, iMini's fantastic. For me, in my environment, it's performing flawlessly. I trust it. Guy saying, have any of you guys used the gray screens and do you see a difference? Guy, this is my thoughts on the gray screens, and this is also what me and Sam talked about it. If you have a cheap projector, then with the gray screens, you're going to see more contrast. So the gray screen allows cheaper projectors to see contrast. You can see behind me. I mean, this is through a camera and you're looking at it behind me. You can see the white clouds and the blue sky. There's contrast there. I mean, so with an expensive projector, I think you don't need the gray screen. If you've got a cheaper projector and you want more contrast, then I think the gray screens definitely work. But if you've got a decent projector, you're going to see the contrast anyway. However, there's drawbacks as well, because the gray screens, they can also make the image not look as good as well. So there's pros and cons. I think it's good if you want more contrast for the sky. Glenn, yep, answered that question. That's so exciting, Dave. Having a shed purposely built, that is super exciting. Keen to see your build. Definitely join the Facebook group and drop your pictures in the Facebook group. Yeah, Jez, a skills test will be coming. Harris is saying he loves the club overlay on the VTRA. So do I, Harris. I love that. However, it comes and goes pretty quick, and it comes and you're like, you see it and then it's gone. That's why I love that overlay, but I would love it on my second display as well. So once I've done my shot, I can come back and really analyze it and look at it on repeat, like the Pro T. They do it so well. So I love the overlay as well, but I do think it would be nice to have the other software giving you all the club data. Dave saying my Pro TVX and GS Pro software. What was that in regards to? Yeah, the Pro T's incredible. Oh man, this has just jumped. I'm at the bottom of the comments. The US Open is tough due to rough and the Open is weather. Yeah, both. See, I love the Open. I think the Open is the ultimate test in golf. I find the US Open for me, I don't really find it the ultimate. I watch the golf. To me, it's not the ultimate test. To me, the US Open is you've got to bomb it and you've got to hit it straight. It's all about fairways and greens. I personally don't think the US Open, sorry, tests every aspect of your game. The reason I say that is because especially this week, this US Open, it was just that long rough that was ridiculously long everywhere. So you have to hit the exact same shot. You're hitting like a massive bunker shot, essentially, every time you're in the rough. So it doesn't really test your bump and runs. It doesn't test, putter from off the green. It doesn't test all of these different aspects. So I think, you look at the Open Championship, every single Open Championship, it tests you with really long putts. It tests you with bump and run shots. It tests you with hitting these random shots that you'd never hit, like, a punch 6-iron from 100 yards and running it through contours and using the slopes to try and feed it towards the hole. So that to me is the ultimate test. You can go high at the Open Championship, you can go low, you can go in between. That is really testing everything. Whereas I feel like the US Open was a bit one-dimensional. It was just get it in the fairway, and then if you go in the rough, you just have to hit like a blast, like bunker shot out of the rough. That's just my opinion. Yeah, Dave, you got the cameras. That's good. Make sure they are global shutter cameras. And Guy saying next UI, it will be there. Yeah, nice. Next to the ball detection. Yeah, that's cool. Have you got the new UI, Guy? I'd love to get it. I might send them an email. What's your guess on pricing for a camera-based launch monitor, especially ceiling-based? I love my IXO2, but the price keeps running out. I think we'll see 3K launch monitors similar to Unicore soon. Yeah, Mike, that's a possibility. I think realistically, the next real step for launch monitors, we've kind of got like our cheaper side-based launch monitors now, photometric-based launch monitors. The next step is cheap overhead launch monitors. Oh, I'm so keen for the Open. Royal Port Rush. Hopefully Greg is busily working away at Royal Port Rush. Fingers crossed. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you've got any last-minute questions, get them in now. $14 stimp. See, Spike, I don't know. I kind of see like the 14 stimp for me. What did they say? It's like they were like 14, 15 stimp. Was it really? Was it really? Or was that just like, was that just like marketing? I don't know. I would love to see the test done. Maybe there is a test out there. I'd love to actually watch them do the stimp test and make sure it's actually on a flat. Well, you got to do it flat. You've got to do it from one way and the other way. Was that just marketing? I don't know. Potentially. GS Pro 13 stimp is quicker. Those guys would stand no chance in the tip store. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, let me know. Any comments or questions, leave them down below. And I'll catch you guys next week for the live. Not in the rain. Oakmont is always crazy fast, and not just in the US Open. All right, guys, I'll catch you next week. Thanks for